What's up, everyone? Today we have a very interesting episode from a good friend of mine, Faisal, who's the CEO of Bonotel. Bonotel is a travel operator in North America. He, I would say, is an expert when it comes to travel, hotel, flights, and we were having a conversation earlier in the office today about traveling and kind of different myths about the travel industry and what are the hot cities to travel in. And I'm a big believer that everyone should get out there and travel. While I had a travel expert in the office, I figured this is a great time to have a conversation. Where should we be going? Some tips on traveling and some crazy shady things that airline companies do when you search for your flights. Stay tuned till the end because I thought this was fake news, but it's real. So check it out. Enjoy the episode. And if you're interested in learning more, hit him up at The Hotel Boss. He's on Instagram. Rare to connect with people like this who are so deep in the industry and so open to share information. So take advantage. So today we have Faisal here from Bonotel. What do you guys do?
Easiest way, we are a middleman. We go and get hotel supplies. So I'll go and negotiate a rate from, say, the Bellagio, and then I sell it B2B. So then I'll sell to, say, Virgin or Southwest or another intermediary that sells to the end consumer.
Okay, so you are AKA the Hotel Boss.
That is right.
That is your Instagram name, and I think it's fitting because I know Andres and I, whenever we travel, he'll always reference, your recommendations. Or once we were in Miami at Art Basel, and you got us upgraded to these insane rooms. Yeah. So I want to talk about traveling. So I encourage young people to travel. I'm sure you traveled the world when you were a young person. I've spent every last dime in my 20s trying to travel and see everything. I think it changed my perspective of life, getting exposed to different cultures and different people. So where should people travel now? So when I was in my 20s, I wanted to go to Europe. That was the big part. And then recently Southeast Asia. And then there's obviously amazing places in America. What are you seeing as places that people should be visiting?
Yeah, I mean, right now, obviously Europe always has the buzz. You have those hot destinations, Ibiza, Mykonos, et cetera, et cetera. But,
are those the two hottest spots still for young people?
Yeah, I mean, Portugal's now on the
Portugal's really hot, right?
I went there last year. Porto, Lisbon. I mean, it was.
Is it the vibe?
Yeah, but for me,
looks underdeveloped.
Yeah, for me, what I like Portugal is I like it when it's a little bit sketchy still because that means there's deals to be had.
Yeah.
When it gets too commercialized, that means all the smart money's already there. They're looking to.
So what time of year is good for a place like Portugal?
I mean, right before peak. So July, August are the worst months. So if you go end of May into June, or you start to go right after the first week of September, October, those are the best times. All the rates start to come down. The prices are a little bit more reasonable. Flights are cheaper. It's not as crazy as during the July, August period, but you have to balance sometimes having a little bit more freedom or not being the 2000th guy in the room when you're at a bar.
Yeah,
increases your odds to kind of find that special someone.
Yeah. And that's interesting because everyone always thinks summer is the time you travel. And I think when you're older and you have families and you have no other choice, July and August makes sense.
When they're on vacation.
But when you're young, you can hop and go any time of the year.
Yeah.
And it's so much cheaper to go. I mean, I've gone to Mykonos in September. It's so much cheaper.
Yeah. And it's actually way better because the crowds are down. I went last year. With one of my clients, we were renting a villa in July, so yes, I went counter two, but I was able to afford it during that time.
Yeah.
But we went in June, and it was actually way more fun. Like you had
the restaurants
it was going on. Yeah, it was going down. Restaurants you could go into, you can navigate. I mean, it gets annoying when you just have people bumping into you everywhere, and it's not like all the magazines show. It's not just cool, sexy people that are bumping into you. It's like the annoying people. It's just like bums, dirty people. It just gets like nasty. So
and what about in terms of like, what are some great places in America you're seeing that are like trending, or in Mexico or Asia? Or
Yeah, well, I mean, right now Thailand is booming, and that is probably one of the most affordable destinations you could go.
what's a good hotel room in Thailand?
Well, I mean, you could go. I mean, every major chain is there, but you can stay at the St. Regis and get a room that's normally $700-800 in the States for 200 and something.
Wow. And then if you're even on $100 budget, you can get a nice.
Yeah, my brother, we were traveling there on business because we actually have an office out in Bangkok, and I was staying at a nicer hotel. And I was like, sorry, you can't stay here, buddy. So he went to another one of our partners over at the Dream, and he got this sick hotel right in the middle of all the action for like $100 a night.
So Thailand, you'd highly recommend.
Yeah, and then when you go into the islands, that's where like Phuket, or it's actually pronounced fuck it, but when you go to the other islands, it's super cheap. You could be on a budget of sub $100 per day.
Wow.
And have an amazing time and a crazy experience.
Are all these rewards programs for hotels bullshit?
I think they're total bullshit.
Really? So I should never. I pull out my Starwoods.
No, I mean you should do it because there's always that stupid thing like you get the free internet or they do something, but. Yeah. I mean, it's noise. You look to unless you have like the credit card tied to it where you can ramp up points really quickly. 99% of people never travel enough to get a damn thing. So, you just go. And so I have them as well, but simply because if you're, it's not even called Starwood Rewards anymore. It's, they have their SPG. They like changed it and relaunched it. But with Marriott, but you get free internet, and sometimes there's benefits, and it's free to sign up. So it's kind of like, why wouldn't you? Hilton has the same thing. If you log in, you could go. Fairmont, et cetera, et cetera. But as far as if you think you're going to get a ton of points off of it, you're better off finding, like a credit card towards an airline that you want, and then put all your spend on it, or the Chase Sapphire card's another one. Any of these travel cards that are specific to maybe an airline you're tied to, or just points that you can transfer to hotels or airlines. That's what I would recommend. The other loyalty stuff is just kind of gimmicky.
So you think it's like for traveling purposes, is there any reason to be loyal to any hotel group, or should I just look for the best deal and the best thing that suits you for that city?
Well, so every traveler is different. So, what you see is people that are price conscious, which is the majority of the people.
Yeah.
There's no loyalty. So, for another $20 a night savings, you're going to go across the street to a hotel that's a 4-star to a 4-star, or 3-star to a 3-star. Like people are not, they don't care anymore. Like they just move, and that's where, they're shopping on all the meta search sites, the kayaks, and then going to the OTAs and those sort of things, because they're looking for the best deal, and rightfully so. Like who doesn't want to have the best deal?
Yeah.
And then, there's others where they're brand loyal because it's consistency with service. And those are kind of the business people or the wealthier people who know and expect certain things. So they travel, to Four Seasons. They want to stay at the Four Seasons. They want to go to St. Regis. They go to St. Regis everywhere because it's a consistent experience that they know and are guaranteed, to have. So that's kind of where there's a difference. But the lion's share of the travelers are looking for the best deal. And, oftentimes, depending on what's going on in a city, a hotel maybe had a group fallout, or the hotel was sold out for some reason, and then they're dropping rates, and you'd be a fool not to save the money.
Yeah. And what's your take or perspective on Airbnb?
Well, everybody always asks me that. It is buyer beware. So sometimes people make pictures look better than they are.
Yeah.
And there's challenges with check-in sometimes, or that the host isn't, necessarily accessible. But I look at it as if I'm going by myself, it's not really the thing I'm looking to do. Even a lot of times with a couple, like if I'm going with my wife, it's not what I would go. But if I'm going in groups, definitely going with, short-term rentals, Airbnbs, Avant stays, whatever that may be, because, having the experience with the group is way different when you're all in one house than, in 10 different rooms.
Yeah.
You can get after it. Everybody's partying, there's always somebody up pumping the music in the morning, cooking some eggs and bacon. And then at night, it's just the nighttime you could activate. Yeah. Everybody's there.
What
it's
about,
way more fun.
What about in terms of like, What are some other interesting trends you're seeing in like travel and hotel, like that would be interesting for people that want to travel?
Yeah, I mean, I think the other thing you're seeing are a lot more boutique hotels. So hotels that are not the big brands like Marriott or Hilton or something Intercontinental or Holiday Inn. People are really coming into the hospitality space and buying hotels, and these are entrepreneurs who have never been in the space and really creating a unique experience within their property. So they're making lobbies cooler. Bars within those lobbies in order to attract you there, in order to have some co-working space to where you're there, you can have a meeting, have a drink. Always critical to have a drink when you're meeting, right? Yeah. We talked about that earlier. Or you can sit and have coffee in the morning and just mingle with random people and meet cool travelers, entrepreneurs, business people. Yeah, your next wife or husband, who you never know.
And what about, I've 2 or 3 final questions. What is a emerging city that you're seeing that's like popping up that you're like, you got to go check this out?
Yeah, I mean, Seattle continues to come onto the radar. People are jumping up there. It's beautiful, especially during the summer. They have the Seafire that's in August. I'm actually going to go check it out this year, where it's out on the water, and it's supposed to be an incredible party with like air shows and those sort of things. So Seattle in August, so check that out. Nashville is just blowing up.
Really?
Yeah, it's popping right now. A lot of people love Nashville just because you have a little bit of the honky tonk. They have everything and great food. It's just a fun vibe, and especially if you're going and looking for a good time. I mean, those are a couple of the cities that are
What about
really...
Mexico? You mentioned Mexico when we were talking earlier. Yeah. Where in Mexico?
Well, I mean, my personal favorite, it's just because I've gone there since I was in college, is Cabo.
Yeah.
But for a lot of people, Cabo is getting very expensive.
Cabo's expensive now.
It's
so
crazy.
where else can you go in Mexico?
I mean, if you go, this is where I'd say go into San Diego, spend a couple days in SD. They have a great microbrew scene. They have some cool stuff that's off the beaten path. If you go down into Mission Beach, even Pacific Beach has kind of been redone a little bit more. I'm not a huge Gaslamp fan personally, but there's outer areas where there's a ton of cool stuff. Del Mar's great. New restaurants and bars within that area. San Diego's kind of coming back. There's a lot more development and areas that are cool to walk around in and just chill, have a drink with great views and everything else. And then you could drive 35 miles, go down past Tijuana. For me, Rosarito, I mean, that's another great fun place that's cheap. On the beach, and if you go into some of these smaller cities, that's really where you're going to still find value. And the benefit of driving across the border, obviously there's no airfare. That's a plus. You can drive, you can come and go as you want. Other tip is if you're flying into Mexico, one way to get cheaper flights, fly into Tijuana. So if you're going into Tijuana airport, you can then connect into other cities.
Oh, wow.
And
that's
it's
interesting.
Like domestic flights.
Okay.
And so especially if you're in California, that's an easier way to you go into Tijuana. And if you live in San Diego or in LA, you technically could drive to Tijuana if you wanted to. San Diego, LA is probably getting a little bit far, but to each their own. Road trip, stop along the way.
Yeah, that's amazing. And what's last question, what is a good travel hack that the average person should know?
Yeah, I mean, the main one is when you're searching for flights, you got to clear your cache and your history. I mean, when
that's true.
Yeah, it actually, so what ends up happening is, they're actually logging searches and the algorithms that they have. Like if we're all on the phone and we're like, all right, boys, we're going to Vegas, which we got to talk about Vegas real quick. But there's, all right, boys, we're going to Vegas, and everybody starts searching, March 1st to the 4th.
Yeah.
And you go, and it's the more people that search, they're actually moving up the pricing. So
wow,
you may get the best price, like first mover's advantage. And then I go and it's like price no longer available. I'm paying $60 more. I actually did it with the flight with one of my boys going to Seattle. He booked it at $217. We were both going, my internet wasn't working for whatever reason as fast. And then he got it 217. I paid 279. So
Wow.
it was like
So you
minutes.
literally after
it's within minutes.
So you have to clear your cash immediately after
clear
your
your
second.
cash, or if you're searching, like if you search that day and then you're going to search again, clear your cache or your browser history, then go back, or be incognito, as they say.
Wow,
Yeah.
so that's real. I always thought that was like fake news.
No. I mean, they're actually logging who's searching and the search demand that's there, and then yielding off of it. And the airlines are the smartest at yielding, and yield management and adjusting their rates.
That's
accordingly.
unbelievable.
Like they know.
And what about Vegas? Because you live there.
Yeah, so Vegas, everybody. I think it's kind of, for me, cliche to go sit and go to the clubs, although we all go and do it.
Yeah, like I don't need to go to another day party.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
I mean, we've seen them there. Everybody can look. It's the same ones. The same ones are good. There's nothing like
I think for
amazing.
us who've been there, for a young person who's never experienced it, go do it. It's really fun. Enjoy it.
Downtown is amazing. There's a couple speakeasies now. I believe one's called the Laundry Room. There's stuff downtown. There's the Arts District where they have all these new bars that are popping up where the drinks are at least 50% of the price, and a cool scene.
What about staying there? Is it
Yeah,
fine to stay there?
there's the hotels are all being renovated down there. And they're significantly cheaper than on the Strip, and you're a taxi right away, or an Uber away. So it's not so difficult to get back up.
Yeah.
The Strip. One other hack is, when you're coming into Vegas, don't take the freeway from the airport.
That's the biggest
that's
scam.
The sucker's bet.
Yeah,
Sucker's
but they
bet,
always say, I'm going to take the freeway. It's faster. I'm like, no, it's not. Take Coval.
They actually have this thing where they get fined if they get caught, the taxi drivers,
Wow.
and so don't take the sucker's bet because it does charge you more.
Yeah.
The other thing is, if you're going from downtown up to the main Strip area, make sure that you have them take the back roads, like Dean Martin Road. Just remember Dean Martin Road, Industrial.
Yeah.
Those are the two back roads you want to have them take, especially on Friday and Saturday. It's a parking lot on the Strip.
Yeah.
And don't be afraid to get out and take bus number 11 and walk your booty.
Yeah. And they have the trams too, the trains.
Yeah, the monorail's too expensive though. Yeah, well, they charge you like $9.
Oh, I thought it was free.
Fuck no.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's free. Like if you take the MGM one, is free between their properties, but you got to be stuck where they're at, and you got to start at one. And then one other place you can go that's a ton of fun. They have a bunch of bar games, a huge local scene, and now a lot more tourists are going. And my buddy Jonathan Fine owns it. With Fine Entertainment is Parkway Tavern. So it's off the 215. They have drink specials out there, live bands. It's always popping.
How far is it from Vegas?
No, it's probably 10 minutes in an Uber.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, you take it 10 minutes there, and you're buying beers for $4 or $5, and they have, sometimes hundreds of them on tap. I mean,
Wow.
it's a fun place. They have all kinds of drinking games, the huge Jenga. Yeah, I'm the champ at that. The more tequila I have, the better I get.
That's amazing.
So that Parkway Tavern, there's two. You got to go the one off the 215 freeway.
Okay.
It's kind of a fun local scene that a lot of tourists are starting to gravitate out towards.
Okay. Amazing. This is incredible. So much information.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Nah, thank you. Always glad.
And so if, sorry to interrupt, but if people want to ask you more questions, how do they reach you?
Easiest way is just send me a DM on Instagram. I'm pretty frequently checking those at the Hotel Boss. Just send them over there. Definitely always willing to help. You're going to other destinations. You want to know what hotels to stay at, where to look, where to try and buy it and get a hotel. Can definitely help you. If you just want to know where to go, always willing to help. And, we have a whole team that support, myself and, all of our customers as well. So it's what we do. So at the Hotel Boss.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Great.